Did you know ASBN, America's Small Business Network, is now available on your TV? That's right. ASBN is now streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire Stick, and available for download in the App Store. Scan the QR code to download the ASBN app today. Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Would you be surprised to discover that human behavior and personalities can be neatly categorized into 4 groups? Joining us now is Thomas Erikson, who's behavioral expert, author, and keynote speaker. In his best-selling book, Surrounded by Idiots, Thomas introduces a remarkable way to decode human behavior and categorize individuals into 4 personality colors: red, yellow, green, and blue. Thanks so much for joining us today, Thomas. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
Sure. So you're a behavioral expert. Can you share a little bit about your background for those few out there that may not be as familiar with you as we are here at the show?
I'm sure most people don't know who I am. Well, I've been working with behaviors for my entire career, I would say. As an ex-banker, as a young man, I discovered interesting behavioral patterns, let's call them, at an early age. And I realized I need to pay some attention to why people are doing what they are doing. Mm-hmm. And that actually led me on to put me on track, let's say, to study this when it comes to communication. And I'm not talking about, strange diagnosis, but just normal people, still hard to understand. And why don't they understand me? So I've been working with this as a management consultant and a keynote speaker and an author for 25 years, 28 years actually.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic. So congratulations on all your success. Congratulations on the book, Surrounded by Idiots. There's been many times that I have felt that way in my life. So that's a great title for your book. It's gained widespread recognition. What inspired you to write the book, and what message do you want your readers to walk away with?
Well, what inspired me to write the book was actually what I touched upon just now. A lot of people are sitting in those meetings, sitting around the table, taking good notes, trying to figure out what's happening around the table,
Sure.
What is going on. You run your own agenda, when you try to answer do the smart moves and answer the questions the best possible way you can. But then you leave the meeting and the only thing that you can actually think of is what's wrong with these people. And we all been in those meetings, and some people feel that they actually are surrounded by idiots.
Sure.
Interestingly enough, some people seems to be surrounded by more idiots than others, so that's kind of interesting, I think.
That's right.
There are some idiot magnets out there. And I thought maybe I should squeeze what I know, what I have been using as a management consultant, as a lecturer, into a book.
Yes.
So I went to my then publisher and said, this is going to be a great book about behaviors and communication styles. It's going to be called Surrounded by Idiots. And this is what it looks like. And they said, it's a stupid idea. It's an ugly cover. It's my own design. It's a really silly title. People are going to get angry. So scrap the whole idea. But I didn't, because I thought I was onto something here.
That's right. That's right. And you were, right? I mean, it's a very popular book, and people can relate to it. In Surrounded by Idiots, you discuss 4 personality types: red, blue, yellow, and green. Can you tell us a little bit about each color and personality type?
Of course, this is based on the old disc profile. We added the colors for a pedagogical reason. It's easy to remember a red and yellow behavior instead
Sure.
of a high D over an I with a low C or something.
Right.
The red ones, the dominant ones, fast forward thinkers, very energetic, very decisive, competitive, and goal oriented. The yellow ones are the happy ones, the shiny ones. Always smiling, and they see have you seen the sun, and even though you might point out it's actually raining,
Yeah.
Yeah, but the sun is always shining somewhere, right?
That's right.
Those people. And you have the green ones, calm, steady ones, very conflict avert, don't like change, but very, very loyal, very good team players.
Sure.
Excellent listeners. They actually hear what you say. The last one is the blue character, the analytical ones, details, detail-oriented, facts, proof, quality, always striving for quality. But these are only the fundamentals. Of course, you can combine them in many, many ways. So, but like when you bake a cake, you need the basic ingredients. You need to understand what is an egg, what is sugar, what does salt actually do to the mixture there.
Sure.
So Then you can take it from there.
Yeah, fantastic. So how can entrepreneurs and business owners benefit from understanding these personality types when building or leading their teams within their businesses?
That is, of course, the right question. Well, business is based upon can you trust each other?
Sure.
Can you trust each other? Do you know this kind of individual? Can you trust his words? And how do you build trust? Well, you need to understand how people are wired. You need to communicate in a way that makes you trustworthy. And communication happens on the receiver's terms. People hear what they hear and they see what they see. And when your messages filter through layers of, years and educations and trainings and I don't know, different jobs and then attitudes, opinions, prejudice, perhaps even biases, what comes out is what it is. And the more you understand, the easier you can adapt yourself towards, the other person in the room, let's say.
That's right.
And show yourself as trustworthy, that you can actually adapt, you can fine-tune yourself and sort of find a way through, which is tricky in a way, but when you have a couple of tools in your toolbox, it's actually not that tricky if you actually pay some attention.
Sure. And if I'm a red in the room and I'm the leader of the room, I'll probably misinterpret the blue, the yellow, and the green, right? If I don't understand where they're coming from or that they even exist.
Correct. And you will be very, very impatient because everyone is too slow. Red people are actually surrounded by more idiots than others. The idiot line there is quite narrow because most people are too slow. Slow.
Yeah.
Now, kidding a little bit, but in general, when you're sort of in your own head all the time, it's going to be hard to understand other people.
Sure.
Sounds like a cliche, but it's usually the truth. We think too much about ourselves.
Sure. So it sounds to me like this is a book then that maybe the whole team should read so that they do understand one another and they do understand the differences in these different personality types that happen to be within the team, right?
Exactly. That's an excellent idea. The point is, if the leader reads the book or understands behaviors, that's not good enough because, like when I go traveling, if I'm going to buy a ticket to, I don't know, to Sydney, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to call my travel agency up. So get me a ticket to Sydney. And they will say, no problem. And then they will ask, from where would you like to go? Just imagine I said, never mind that, just get me the ticket.
Sure.
That's not going to work at all. You need 2 dots on the map. And the starting point is always yourself. So if everyone in the team understands who they are and how they are perceived, how others interpret their behaviors, it's going to be a great team. If only 1 or 2 or maybe just the leader of the team tries his or her hardest, that's not enough. It's not going to work at all, actually.
That's right. This can also help in your personal life as well, right? I mean, when you understand that these other personality types exist, whether it be in your family or just among your friends, right?
Exactly. I mean, communication is communication. People are people. You can call it a professional context or a personal context. And I have received, I don't know how many thousands of emails from people from all over the globe, actually. I mean, the book has been translated into some crazy 56 languages or something. It's completely surreal. I'm struggling to wrap my head around that. But
well, congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you, sir. Well, the thing is this. People are striving in their personal relationships, maybe even more when it comes compared to professional ones. Right. And it's, of course, more important. And I think a lot of marriages actually break apart because they can't understand each other.
That's right.
And communication style, personality styles, that's just one part of it, of course, but it's an important part. If you don't understand what your spouse is actually telling you, on the lines, between the lines, and then, some people don't even hear the words. So many things can be gained by paying some attention. And it doesn't have to take extra time. It doesn't have to be really, really hard. But of course, you need to be motivated to do it. And I see a lot of examples from people all over the planet saying, when I understood my husband is blue and I'm yellow, oh my God, all of a sudden, it all makes perfect sense.
That's right.
No one's an idiot here. We are just exceptionally different. And all of a sudden, I get him and he gets me. Wow.
That's right.
For me, that's That's really cool.
That's right. It's not that those people are inferior to you or they're better than you. It's just that they're different. They're a different color in this case, right? Which is okay.
Exactly. Which is absolutely okay. Most people are okay.
Yeah.
But it's hard to understand. It's hard to understand yourself.
Sure.
Sometimes. Why did I do this and why did I do that? I don't even know how I'm myself or wired really. So understanding other people is even harder. But still, what's the option? Constant conflict all the time? I don't think that's a good choice.
That's right. That's exactly right. Hey, as we wrap up today's conversation, what message would you like to leave our viewers with, in the sense that these are, entrepreneurs and business owners that make up our viewing audience?
Well, as a businessman myself since 30 years, I would say something like this. We will always run into interesting people, let's say, strange people, weird people, people who seems to be impossible to understand. And remember the following: you cannot change somebody else. That is 100% impossible, but you can change yourself, at least in the moment, to adapt for 30 minutes or 60 minutes. That should be possible, but don't accept the other one to change him or herself. They won't do it, actually.
Yeah,
pay attention to yourself.
I could not agree more. That's great advice for our audience. And the more that you understand, those others in the room and what makes up their personality, and obviously that's what your book targets. You're more than halfway there, right? Just by understanding them.
Well put.
Yeah, for sure.
Well put.
Thomas Erikson, behavioral expert, author, and keynote speaker. Also I should say a TED Talk speaker too, right? Recently that you had a TED Talk in Athens.
That's true. That's correct. Yeah. I was talking about the challenges of Gen Z. Yeah. I don't think the problem is as big as people claim. I think there are good chances to do this in a good way, actually.
Yeah, that's great. Well, congratulations on all your success. Love to have you back to drill down on a few other areas of the book. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us here at ASBN.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.